The entire office went silent. Everyone heard her. "If you fix it, I'll kiss you." It wasn't a joke. It wasn't playful. It was a challenge. A powerful CEO, offering a kiss like a reward, like a prize. And standing in front of her, holding a toolbox, wearing worn-out shoes and a faded jacket, was a single father who hadn't smiled in years. He looked at her, not impressed, not nervous, not even interested. And then he said something that no one in that building would ever forget. "I don't need your kiss." Ethan Cole wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't part of the polished corporate world of glass offices, designer suits, and expensive perfumes. He was just a maintenance worker. A man who fixed broken things. Broken pipes. Broken wires. Broken machines. But no one knew. He had spent years trying to fix something far more fragile. His life. Every morning at 5 a.m., Ethan woke up in a small apartment. He made breakfast for his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. Pancakes when he could afford it. Toast when he couldn't. She always smiled anyway. "Daddy, today will be a good day, right?" He always nodded, even when he knew it wouldn't be. Because bills kept piling up. Because his wife, Lily's mother, had left when Lily was just a baby. Because no matter how hard he worked, life kept breaking. Ethan worked 3 jobs. Maintenance in the morning, delivery driver in the afternoon, night cleaner in a hospital. He barely slept. But what hurt the most wasn't the exhaustion. It was the way people looked at him. Invisible, unimportant, replaceable. Until one day, everything changed. The call came early. Emergency repair needed at Sterling Innovations headquarters. Ethan didn't think much of it. Just another job. But when he arrived, he stepped into a different world. Luxury floors, glass walls, people who didn't look at him twice. And at the center of it all was her. Clara Sterling, CEO. Young, powerful, cold. She had built the company from nothing. And she trusted no one. The main server system had crashed. The entire company was frozen. Millions of dollars were at risk. Top engineers had already failed. Tension filled the room. Clara crossed her arms, watching Ethan walk in with his toolbox. Her assistant whispered, "Ma'am, he's just maintenance." Clara's lips curved slightly. "Let him try. We're already at 0. The room chuckled. Ethan didn't react. He just walked toward the system. Calm, focused. Clara stepped closer. "You think you can fix what my engineers couldn't?" Ethan didn't look at her. "I'll try." She smirked. "All right." She leaned in slightly. "If you fix it, I'll kiss you." The room erupted in quiet laughter. A joke. A humiliation. A test. Ethan finally looked at her. His eyes weren't angry. They were tired. Deeply tired. And that's when he said it. "I don't need your kiss." The laughter died instantly. Clara froze. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Ever. But before she could respond, Ethan turned back to the system. And started working. Minutes passed. Then an hour. The room stayed silent. Ethan worked with focus no one expected. He wasn't guessing. He understood the system. Better than anyone in the room. Clara watched him. Confused. Curious. Something about him didn't match his appearance. Finally, the system flickered. Then came back to life. Screens lit up. Data restored. The entire company breathed again. Someone shouted, "It's fixed." The room erupted in applause. Clara didn't clap. She just stared at Ethan. "Who are you?" He packed his tools. "Just someone who fixes things." That night, Clara couldn't sleep. She kept hearing his words. "I don't need your kiss." No one had ever rejected her like that. Not her wealth. Not her power. Not her. The next day, she did something unexpected. She asked Auer for his file. When Clara read his file, her expression changed. Single father. 3 jobs. No complaints. No history of misconduct. And one line that stood out. Former systems engineer. She frowned. Why is he doing maintenance? No one had an answer. Clara found him days later. Fixing a broken elevator. She stood behind him. "You lied." Ethan didn't turn. "I didn't. You're not just maintenance." He kept working. "I do what pays." She crossed her arms. "You were an engineer." Silence. Then he said quietly, "I was a lot of things." Clara didn't leave. For the first time, she waited. Ethan sighed. "My wife got sick." His voice softened. "I sold everything for her treatment." He paused. It wasn't enough. Clara's expression changed. She'd passed away. And after that, no one cared about my resume. He looked at her. Only whether I could survive. Something inside Clara cracked. She had spent her life chasing success, winning, control. But standing in front of her was a man who had lost everything. And kept going. Without bitterness. Without pride. Just strength. Days turned into weeks. Clara found reasons to see him. Small repairs. Unnecessary checks. Just to talk. Ethan stayed distant. Respectful. But never impressed. Never intimidated. One evening, she asked, "Why didn't you take my offer?" "What offer?" "The kiss." Ethan smiled slightly. "I don't mix respect with rewards." She looked at him carefully. "And what do you want?" He answered without hesitation. "A stable life for my daughter." Clara insisted on visiting. Ethan hesitated, but eventually agreed. When Clara met Lily, everything changed. The little girl ran to Ethan. "Daddy," then looked at Clara. "Are you his boss?" Clara smiled softly. "Yes." Lily grinned. "Then please don't make him work too much." Clara froze. No one had ever spoken to her like that. So honestly. So purely. Weeks later, Clara made a decision. She offered Ethan a job. Senior systems engineer. High salary. Flexible hours. Ethan refused. "I can't risk stability." Clara was stunned. "Stability? This is stability." He shook his head. "No. This is risk." She didn't understand. Until she overheard something. Ethan was talking to a doctor. About Lily. "She needs treatment soon." Clara's heart dropped. Lily was sick. That night, Clara sat alone in her office. For the first time in years, she felt helpless. She had everything. Money, power, influence. But none of it mattered when a child needed help. The next day, she went to Ethan. "I'll cover the treatment." He immediately refused. "No. It's not charity." "No. Then what is it?" Ethan looked at her. "It's something I can't repay." Clara stepped closer. "You already did." Clara finally confessed. "You reminded me, I'm still human." Silence. Then she said softly, "Let me help." Ethan hesitated. For the first time, he didn't say no. Months later, Lily recovered. Ethan accepted the job, not because of money, but because he trusted Clara. And Clara was no longer the cold CEO. She laughed more, smiled more, lived more. One evening, they stood on the company rooftop, the city glowing beneath them. Clara looked at him. "Do you still not need my kiss?" Ethan smiled. "This time, it's not a reward." She stepped closer. "Then what is it?" He looked at her. "It's a choice." And this time, he didn't step back. Love isn't a transaction. Respect isn't earned through power. And sometimes, the strongest people are the ones quietly holding everything together. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, heart, comment your thoughts crying, and subscribe for more powerful love stories. Sparkles, your support means everything.